China's reusable rocket milestone, and the case for content systems that can relaunch fast. What China's reusable rocket landing actually changed. China landed a reusable rocket for the first time, according to the BBC's announcement. And the landing is the part that matters. A launch photo gets attention for a day. A safe return means the hardware can be inspected and recovered before it is sent out again. That shift turns a one-off event into a system. Recovery brings faster turnaround and less waste. And the process improves every time it runs. The value lives in the landing, where the rocket stops being a spectacle and starts behaving like an asset. E-commerce content has the same problem when teams treat every page like a one-time launch. A winter outerwear guide that gets retired in March wastes the work already done. Even though the topic still matters when shoppers start looking for spring layering or lightweight insulation. A page that can be refreshed in place keeps earning its keep. That's the real lesson from the rocket story. Build for reuse from the start. So the next launch is faster because the first one left something worth recovering. Why one-and-done content fails small e-commerce teams. A lot of small e-commerce teams publish a page, get a short burst of traffic, then move on. Products change, user needs evolve, and inventory changes, but the page stays frozen on publish day. The result is content that keeps a URL but loses its job. That decay shows up quickly in category copy and buying advice. A guide that still calls heavy fleece the best answer for mild weather starts sounding out of step. The moment shoppers begin asking about packable layers or water resistance, searchers can feel that mismatch in a sentence or two. For lean teams, the hidden cost is time. Every fresh campaign means new writing, new approvals, new internal links, and another round of publishing work when a quick update would have done the job. The workload grows because the content was built as a dead end. Take a gift guide that keeps ranking for holiday intent after the season has passed. It still attracts clicks, but it sends the wrong signal to shoppers who want current recommendations and buying help that matches the moment. That page is telling the store's story from the wrong month. Content decay is an operations problem. The page was never set up to be revisited, so every refresh feels like rebuilding a shelf instead of changing the label. That's why the content relaunch workflow matters. If the first version can't be reopened with little friction, the team ends up paying full price for every small change. What a reusable content system looks like in practice. A reusable content system is a core asset built from modular sections that can be refreshed and republished across channels. A buying guide can be split into parts, each with a specific role, and a category intro or launch explainer can follow the same pattern. The structure carries the workload. For e-commerce, the most important elements are easy to name. You need the main explanation, supporting proof, product-specific details, internal links, plus a short update log that shows what changed and why. Each part can move on its own when the market shifts. Main explanation that answers the shopper's first question, supporting proof from reviews, specs, or testing notes, product-specific details tied to fit, material, or use case internal links that send readers to the right collection or related guide, short update log. For recent changes, that structure lets one asset do multiple jobs without starting over. A buying guide can become the intro on a collection page, a short email block, and a social caption with the same core message. The format changes, the foundation stays useful. The difference shows up in edit time. A page with modular sections can be updated in minutes because each block has a clear purpose. A page where every sentence is tangled into one long draft needs a full rewrite before it can go back live. That's the workflow advantage behind reuse. The team spends its energy on the parts that changed, then relaunches the asset without rebuilding the whole thing. The content relaunch workflow that keeps pages useful. A relaunch starts with a fast audit. Check search intent and product changes. Then review the signals the page is already sending, such as impressions, clicks, rankings, conversions, and return rate if the page supports buying decisions. That shows whether the page needs a refresh. A merge with another page, or a clean retirement. The sequence should be simple enough for a small team to repeat without a project manager hovering over. First, read the query and the page side by side. Then, compare the current product details against what shoppers now see on site. Then, look at performance data to spot pages that still attract demand but miss the mark. The last step is deciding the page's fate, and that decision needs rules, because guessing burns time. Use 3 buckets in your workflow. Update pages that still match demand but have stale copy. Merge pages that split the same intent across 2 URLs. And retire pages that have no traffic, no internal links, or a business reason to stay live. A category page for winter coats can be merged into a stronger collection page if the SKU set got thinner. While a blog-style size guide can stay alive if returns data shows a fit problem that shoppers still search for. That same process works on everyday e-commerce pages. If returns spike on a running shoe style because the toe box runs narrow, the size guide gets revised, the fit note gets tighter, and the product copy should reflect the change before more shoppers hit the same snag. If a seasonal collection page loses half its inventory, update the hero copy, swap in the current stock, and keep the page in play for the next demand wave. Speed depends on removing friction from approvals and QA. One person should own the decision. Another should check the page for factual accuracy. And a third should verify that the links point to the correct category or related guide. When those steps are clear, the relaunch feels like routine maintenance that happens before the page goes stale. That routine matters because the same page can come back into circulation whenever demand shifts. A winter boots guide can resurface when weather changes, a gift page can return before a holiday rush. And a fit guide can get another pass when a product line changes shape. The goal is a page that keeps earning its place and then earns it again. How to make content easy to refresh without rewriting everything. Fast refreshes come from structure, short sections, clear subheads, reusable proof points. And modular calls to action make a page easy to edit without ripping the whole thing apart. A shopper should be able to skim the top of the page and know what the item is, how it fits, and where the important details live. That same structure helps answer engines, because clean pages surface the main point early. Search systems reward pages that state the obvious facts without making readers hunt through a wall of copy. And shoppers do the same on mobile. If the first screen tells someone the fabric and fit, the rest of the page has room to support the decision with the return policy note that matters. Accuracy gets easier when claims stay tied to current product details, current policy language, and current availability. A wool sweater page should say what the blend is now, what care instructions apply now, and which colors are still in stock now. If any of those shift, the page should be updated in place before the next launch or restock cycle. The cleanest structure separates evergreen explanation from changeable details. Keep the stable section focused on the material and fit logic. Then isolate the live product lines in a section that can be swapped without touching the rest. That keeps the page useful after assortment changes, which is the part most teams forget when they write a page once and move on. A materials guide is a good example. The section that explains cotton and linen can stay put for a long time, while the section that lists current product lines should change whenever the catalog changes. If a store adds a brushed jersey tee or drops a silk blend, the guide needs only a small update instead of a full rewrite. That kind of design saves hours later. It also gives merchandisers and SEO editors fewer places to break a page when they update one detail. And forget the rest. How relaunch-ready content supports search visibility. Search visibility improves when content stays current enough to trust. A page that reflects real stock and product details gives shoppers fewer reasons to bounce. And that behavior sends a useful signal back into search performance over time. Freshness matters most when the query has buying intent. Because shoppers want the current answer rather than last season's copy, the SEO side is practical. Refresh the title when the offer changes. Rewrite headings so they match the intent behind the query. Tighten internal links so related pages point where they should. And make sure the page answers the shopper's main concern in the first few paragraphs. If someone searches, "Does this jacket run small?" the page should address fit early. With plain language and clear size guidance, answer engines read the same way. They prefer pages with direct answers and consistent facts, along with structure that can be quoted without guesswork. That means short sections, descriptive headings, and details that can be lifted cleanly into a response about sizing, materials, shipping, or returns. Research keeps pointing in the same direction. Google's Search Quality Rater guidelines make page quality and helpfulness central to evaluation. And the broader search guidance around helpful content keeps rewarding pages that serve the user's task first. For e-commerce, that translates into pages that say what the product is, who it fits, and what changed since the last update. A relaunch workflow protects traffic after the first publish date because the page keeps matching reality. When a collection changes, a policy shifts, or a best-selling item gets new variants, the page gets revised and stays relevant to the query that brought it there. That's how a store keeps collecting search demand from the same URL instead of starting over every time. The catalog moves. The payoff is steady visibility. Search engines favor pages that stay aligned with shopper intent. And shoppers trust pages that still match what is actually for sale. Where e-commerce teams should start first. Start with the pages that already attract demand and already move revenue. Category pages and buying guides usually sit closest to purchase intent, so they pay back faster than a random blog post that nobody asked for. That matters in a relaunch workflow, because the first reusable asset should be the one with the shortest path from search to sale. Choose pages using 3 signals. First, consider how often it needs updates, because a winter outerwear hub or a gift guide will age fast. Second, how much money the page influences, which is usually obvious from internal revenue reports and assisted conversions. Third, how often search intent shifts, since a query like best travel backpack can move from feature-led to comparison-led as shoppers get closer to checkout. A lean team should keep the first pass small. One owner can handle the list and the brief if the process is simple enough to repeat without meetings eating the week. Set a weekly review cadence, then build a clean list of pages to relaunch in order of value, starting with the ones that already have links or impressions. High-traffic category pages with thin copy or stale filters, buying guides tied to high-margin products, comparison pages that. To learn more, visit heysprite.com today.